everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back to my channel, and in this video we are crafting for summer. So summer is finally here. I have so many things that I want to do for just getting us ready for summer and having fun, and I will definitely warn you, we're going to monogram a few things because monogramming is what makes me happy. I love it, and hopefully you do too, but if not, you know what, this might be a video you want to skip and you might want to just look for the next one. But we're not going to monogram every single thing in this video, but quite a few things we're going to have fun with doing a little personalization on. So in this video we are going to do, I think, is it 8 crafts? Gosh, I have to check my little checklist, but we're going to do quite a few things just to gear us up for summer and get everything all fun for fun in the sun. So for this first craft, I have some monograms all cut out because I found these super cute little mermaid cups at Target. I will do my best to link them down below. That's a good reminder also at this moment that if you refer to that description box below the video, you will find links to everything that I'm using, from either the materials that I'm using to the little spray bottles that I use to some of the blanks that I'm using. All the things that you see on my craft table today will be down in that description box below. So be sure to utilize that, and I'll have it organized by craft. But I'll do my best to find these. They were at Target. I'm going to put them in my little cup cradle just so that it holds really, really nicely while I get them personalized. So I'm going to be using a really pretty shimmery white vinyl. It's got a nice kind of shimmer glitter to it. It's a little hard to tell on camera, but in person it's just so buttery and smooth, and I love it. In fact, I just cut the last little bit of it, so I'm going to have to order some more, but I will try and link it down below so that you can enjoy it as well. But I'm just going to put that on my favorite transfer tape that I love so much. My girls did get a little peek at these cute little mermaid cups, and they have been waiting so patiently for me to get them all prepped and ready for this summer. So they are eagerly anticipating getting their little hands on these. So I'm just going to rub from the center out. It's a pretty flat surface that I'm working on, so I didn't need to do any relief cuts in the vinyl. But if you need help learning how to put any type of decal on more of a curved surface, I'll put a link to a video that I have done up in the right corner so that you can check that out as well. Okay, so I'm going to grab just a little corner of my transfer tape here and reveal my cute little monogram. How fun is this going to be for summer? I love it. I'm going to repeat the same steps. The reason why I applied that rubbing alcohol to the surface of my little cup was just to remove any dirt or oil from the surface, and that just helps my vinyl stay down and lay down better. So you'll also want to note that you are going to want to hand wash something like this. So avoid the dishwasher, of course, avoid the microwave as well, but hand washing is going to be what's best for the longevity of something like this, even though it is a permanent vinyl. Okay, so burnishing the front and the back with my scraper tool, and there we go. Quick and easy work out of personalizing some cute little cups for the summer. I like to do fun little cups in the summer because, well, even just seasonally in general, just kind of makes staying hydrated a little bit more fun when you have something a little fun to sip out of, and I think the girls are going to really love these little mermaid cups. So there we go, just making sure I don't get any bubbles, and removing the transfer tape, and our first little craft for summer is all done. They are so cute. I love the little color. I think they're so fun, and I think they are going to just really love these this summer. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next little summer craft. The next thing that I want to do is I found these cute little magnetic canisters at Dollar Tree. If you see on the back, they have a little magnet all built in. They are called Magnetic Box, and they had a variety of colors. I found 3 that fit my kiddos' preferences and personalities the best. And all I'm going to do is just place their first initial on the front. And I find that summertime we are outside a lot, especially when we're camping, and the kids are just always finding really really fun little things, whether it's seashells or fun little rocks, anything that they find they always want mommy to carry or to just put in their little pocket. So I thought it would be fun, especially when camping. I think I'm going to put these in our camper, but just to have little containers for each of them just to hold all their little summer treasures and trinkets until we are done with our little travels, and then they can take them home. So I thought this would be fun. I'm just going to put their little initials on the front of each one. And because I decided, now this is white on white so you can't quite see, but I used a smart vinyl that's made for the Cricut Joy. I did because I'm running out of white vinyl, if you can believe. So I went ahead and used a smart vinyl. I cut it with my Explorer 3. I have a video all about how you can cut the smart materials on the regular big cutting machines. They are easy peasy, and I really like doing that when I need to or when I'm in a pinch. So I went ahead and did that, but that means I do need to grab some smart transfer tape. One thing that I have noticed about the smart material is that, in my opinion, it is just a tad thicker than a traditional adhesive vinyl. Now I have to try to get my transfer tape out here. And noting that, I feel like it works best with its transfer tape that it was made for. So if that makes sense. So the Cricut Joy Smart Vinyl, I find works best with their Cricut Joy transfer tape. And I honestly think it's just because it is such a different thickness, in my opinion. I'm not sure if you feel the same way, if you have worked with both traditional vinyl and the Cricut Joy vinyl, but I have found that it's just a tad thicker, meaning it pairs better with its own transfer tape that it was made for. Usually I just do any old transfer tape for whatever I'm working with, but I have found that that Joy transfer tape definitely has a purpose for working with its own smart vinyl. Okay, so I'm going to make sure really quickly that I have, okay, nope, this and this. I want to make sure that each kiddo's initials is where they need to go before I get distracted. Grabbing my weeding tool, I'm just going to almost weed a little portion of that transfer tape up. It just helps me grab it up off of that carrier sheet. And I'm going to try to use the same piece for all three initials, which I sure can do. I'll link this font down below. I believe it's called Juniper. I really love it. It's just a nice, simple font. I find that I use it over and over again, and it was the perfect choice for this. Now, I also, with the Joy material, I always leave my weeding tool handy because sometimes the smart vinyl, in its thickness that we just were talking about, needs a little friendly nudge to come off of that cutting sheet. Okay, now also this is intended to be cut without a mat when using the Cricut Joy, but when I should mention now that I did put it on a mat for placing it through my bigger machine. Okay, so here is my first one, lining this up the best that I can. I just eyeball it. You can absolutely bring out a measuring tape if you would like, and then very delicately grabbing a corner, peeling off, and we have our first little personalization. I think that's so cute, so simple, so cute. So I'm intending to put these in our camper because we do have a magnetic front fridge in our camper, which is always so nice because I find that that adds for some additional storage. Plus, if you watched my live recently, I made some cute magnetic picture frames that I'm going to do on the front of our camper fridge just to hold some of our photographic memories of the summer. And I thought it'd be fun just because then the little containers are up and out of the way and just can hold all those little things that mean so much to little kiddos. It's always the little things that they just fall in love with. Okay, sorry for the bouncing up above me. My little kiddos are having fun. It is summertime. Okay, I think they're about ready to start barbecuing with Daddy, which means Mommy's gonna be super happy in a bit. Barbecuing is my favorite. Okay, last one. And again, using the Joy transfer tape with the Joy vinyl, burnishing the front and the back. And, ooh, that was easy this time. There we go. Okay, going to my last one. Here we go. Okay, last one is down. Again, they're magnetic on the back. Super cute, super easy. There are so many reasons why you would probably really appreciate a little magnetic container. I think they're going to be super fun. I love how colorful and vibrant they are. I think these are just going to be so fun for the kiddos. And let me know down in the comments what you would use these for as well. Let me know what ideas you have for these, because again, they are from Dollar Tree, so just $1.25 these days for each one, but they probably could do a lot of fun different things in terms of organization and storage. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next little summery craft. Okay, my heat press is heating up as we speak. So first, while we are waiting for that, I am going to do a couple sets of shirts today because I have lots of shirts that need to be used in my craft space, and the kiddos are quickly growing out of the sizes that I have purchased. So I'm going to be making some fun shirts for this summer. So the first one I want to do are these cute little camp shirts. I will link the SVG and the shirts down in the description box below. But I thought this would be really cute for some summer travels that we have planned. We love spending time around the campfire, so I thought some cute little camping shirts were absolutely necessary. Now I am just getting this all nice and straight in the meantime. I'm going to use my lint roller as well. And really quickly, I'm going to take my shirt back to my heat press and just pre-press it. This will remove any moisture and also wrinkles from the shirt. That way we get a better press. Okay, here we go. It's still preheating, but you can absolutely do a pre-press during the preheat process. Let's go ahead and just do about 5 to 10 seconds. That's great. And now we can position our design. Okay, so I think I cut these designs at about 6.5 inches in width or across. I like to just eyeball it with my eye. It tends to be one of my superpowers. I go about 1 inch for kiddo shirts from that little neckline, or what visually works for my eye. But I really like that. That's really nice. Now, I will just double check kind of from the little crease of the shoulder here, and that looks good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and press this onto the shirt. Okay, there we go. I'm going to do 305. It's still kind of heating up, but I think it'll do the trick. We're just a few degrees off. I'm going to do 305 for 15 seconds. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and let this cool down. So I'm just going to set this to the side and prep my next shirt. Okay, prepping my next shirt just by repeating that process. Lint roll just to remove any unnecessary lint. I like to pre-wash my shirts. I only make shirts for my kiddos and family, so I'm not, selling shirts. So I'm given that freedom to make my own decisions, and I personally like to pre-wash my shirts before applying iron-on. Okay, I'm going to do my pre-press real quick. Let's remove any wrinkles. And I like to set this to the side on a cool surface. That way it can just cool down while I am doing my next shirt. And it takes no time at all. Okay, that's good. And here we go. So about 1 inch from the top, centering it from the left and right of those sleeves. That looks visually good to me, and so I can go ahead and press that. Okay, here we go. And press. Okay, while the other one is pressing, I can go ahead and just remove this liner, and it laid down perfect. Now I like to actually just place this back on and give it an additional press just because, I think that that initial peel is always a little harsh to iron on. So you don't have to do this. This is something that I personally like to do. It works for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give it an additional heat, and then we'll be all done. Okay, so this one is done. Again, I just placed the liner back over this top one. If you do re-press your shirt, you always want to make sure you have a little liner on top, just because you don't want any exposed HTV on your heat press. So I'm just going to do about 5 to 10 seconds just to give it a little bit more heat. This is already cooled down because I placed it on that cool counter. Okay, this is good. And again, that second peel, just peel like butter, and that one is done. I'll do the same for this one. This is already cooled. I'll do the initial press and see how it's a little bit more of a tug when it does that initial press. Even though it lays down perfectly, I just like to give it just a little more. That's how I like to do it, so skip it if you don't. And about 5 seconds, 5 to 10, usually 7. There we go. All right, now I'm going to put my heat press a little hotter for our next project that's coming up. Okay, how cute did these turn out? I really love this heathered gray shirt, and I really, really like the white contrast on the nice gray. So I think these are super cute. I think they will be well loved this summer around the campfire. And while my heat press is, I think I'm actually cooling, am I cooling it down? Nope, I'm raising the temp for a project we're gonna be doing a little bit later. But while that is heating up further, let's do an adhesive vinyl craft, and we're gonna kind of continue with the little campfire theme. Okay, so I have this cute oval little tray. I got it at, let's see, Joann, and I got it last summer, but I'm sure you can find something similar. In fact, I will do my best to link something similar if I can find something that looks close to this. But I am going to apply some rubbing alcohol because I've had this obviously in my craft room for over a year now. So let's remove any dust or oils so that we can apply some adhesive vinyl. I also found a super cute SVG that says S'mores Station Roasted Fresh Nightly, graham crackers, chocolate, and marshmallows, and I thought this was so, so cute. So we definitely are big campfire lovers. We love having a fun little fire, whether at home or when we are camping. So I knew we needed a fun little tray just to hold the little marshmallows, graham crackers, and chocolate, because I feel like I'm always just like carrying it in my arms and I need just a little help. And I thought, why not make some adorable help? So let me grab some transfer tape, and then we're just going to simply decorate this tray, make it all cutesy cutesy, and enjoy it for the rest of the summer. Grabbing my favorite transfer tape. You know I love it so much. And let's see, I think I'm gonna go from the bottom here. Just trim this off. Okay, so let's get a nice long piece. Now I did have to cut this with my 12 by 24 size cutting mat, because as you can see, it's just a little long. I think I sized this at maybe 15 inches wide because I have quite the space to work with on my tray. Okay, so got to love this transfer tape because those lines just help you get the exact amount that you need. Okay, so a little trick, and I know all of you who have been following me for a long time know this already because I do this quite often, but when you are applying a transfer tape to a longer design like this, instead of, you know, revealing all the transfer tape at once and then getting yourself in a pickle because it's just a lot, what you can do is you can just expose maybe 1 to 2 inches, take that back piece, that little white piece, and just fold it back just like that. Okay, and so then you just have a little bit exposed, again about 1 inch to 2 inches. Then you can just take that exposed transfer tape, line it up with the side of your vinyl, give it a little press, then pull that little tab that you created by doing the fold, and then you can just slowly release the rest of the transfer tape from left to right, and it just lays down beautifully over your entire little design. Just makes it so much easier than having an entire big piece. Pretend this is my sticky transfer tape. If you have a big piece of sticky transfer tape and you're trying to line it up and then put it down, sometimes your vinyl can cling to it, and if it clings and it's not centered, you can get it all wonky or you can get bubbles, and it's just a mess, and then it makes you just want to stop crafting for the day. So in order to keep us happily crafting, that is a tip for you just to put away for a rainy day, or for a crafty day, really. Okay, so I'm just gonna burnish down the front, and then again, I always go ahead and flip my whole design over, transfer tape and all, and burnish the back. This just helps when it's time to pull that liner off, it does it a little bit more eloquently. Okay, so now I'm grabbing my liner. I like to keep my weeding tool handy in case I need it. And let's hope for the best. Now, to be honest, my lovely Explore 3, ooh, everybody's having fun upstairs. Let me see if I can do the other side, has just been cutting really off lately, which has been making adhesive vinyl really not so much fun for mommy. So I just need to do a little bit more focus. I've changed my blade, I've talked sweetly to it, and it's just being a complete stinker lately. And it's really weird because it's like inconsistently being a stinker. So I'm not really sure. I don't know if it's just tired, but I have a lot of crafting I want to get done. So I'm hoping it's just a little phase. Okay, so a little trick is if you get so far and it's getting a little overwhelming, just take your scissors, trim, and then keep going. That way you don't have too many materials and too many hands doing way too much work. And then you can give yourself the grace of starting over. And then you can just continue weeding. Oh my goodness, this has been the most frustrating experience I've ever had. Vinyl is literally coming off. I have to find my tweezers. Coming off and sticking to me. I have no idea. Honestly, my machine was fine one day and then not the next. It's just the weirdest thing ever. So, I'm going to this little piece back on there, trying to stay patient, really hoping that this just turns out in the end. I didn't want to waste all this vinyl. So what's happening is my machine is just cutting a tad too deep, and I'm not sure why that's the case and why it's all of a sudden. I'm just going to straighten out some of my letters here, because I've never ever had to adjust the pressure on my machine ever. And so I just am at a loss for why it's just being cranky pants. But you know what? I think it's going to turn out just fine. Okay, so let me turn it around so we can see some contrast. I know some of the letters down at the bottom look a little wonky, so I'm trying to decide which ones need a little help. And the only reason why they're looking wonky is because I literally had to maneuver each and every stinking letter with my weeding tool as I was pulling that transfer tape up. But you know what? I think I'm just going to have to just let it go and not aim for perfection here, and maybe just keep my sanity and just be over it. Okay, so we're going to have a couple little wonky letters, I think. There. I think that looks good. Okay, it's at least it's gonna be, right? It's one of those projects. You ever have a project where you're just like, all right, put the vinyl down and let's move on? That's this one for me. Okay, so we have roasted fresh daily s'more, no, nightly, of course it's nightly. And that's adorable. There's also a lot of variations that you can purchase and some really cute ones for s'more stations. So be sure to check out some of the SVGs. I'll link this one down below in case you fall in love with it like I have. Oh my gosh, it is cute. Okay, it was worth it. And I love the gray on the kind of cream or off-white tin. I think it just kind of looks kind of rustic and fun, but I think that's cute. Jury's still out if it's gonna be worth all of that hassle. It took me so long to get this up off of the carrier sheet. I think I did 3 crafts in the time that I managed to do that, but you know what? I think it's cute. We're just gonna have to love it. Okay, let's go ahead. I think my press, oh yeah, my press is way ready. It's like, girl, have you forgotten about me? No, I've just been weeding like crazy over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next little iron-on craft. This one's gonna be super, super cute. Okay, so I found the cutest SVG, and I'm just tidying up a little bit behind the scenes because it just keeps me happy. Okay, so I found this SVG and I thought it would be so cute on these little pink shirts. And so I had some holographic, I believe it's called holographic sparkle iron-on. And I thought this is gonna be super fun, super summery. And I thought the gold paired really well with the baby pink. So same as last time, except our temp is gonna be 330 degrees for 30 seconds. I'll link all the materials I'm using down in the description box below, but same as in, we are going to lint roll, pre-press our shirt, and then iron on or press on. So I'm gonna just do some fun music for you because you've seen me do it. The only thing different this time around is the material and the time and temp. So let's go ahead and just get these done. Okay, how cute did these turn out? Oh my gosh, they are so sweet. Now the initial pull was kind of harder than traditional iron-on or just a solid iron-on. I feel like I really had to tug on it. So I just wanted to let you know that. But I did end up giving it a little bit of a pre-press or an additional press, just like always. And I ended up doing it for 30 seconds the second time around as well, just to really make sure that it was on there. And it looks really cute. I just thought that this little holographic sparkle would look so fun in the summer and sunshine. So I think these are cute. I love how they turned out. I just think they're going to be super fun for summer. And again, all the materials will be linked down below, including the SVG and everything else that I used to bring these together. All right, let's work on our next little craft. It's another adhesive craft. Okay, grabbing my little cup cradle once more, I found this cute little water bottle at Target, probably in the springtime, and I loved the pink on it. And I thought this would be really, really fun for just the summertime and a little something for me. So I grabbed it, and I'm gonna put a little fun decal right above this little silicone holder, I guess you could say. And I used one of my favorite fonts. Oops, make sure I line that up correctly. Again, this is white on white, so it's hard to see right now, but I used one of my favorite fonts to cut out the word mama, and I thought it would just be so cute. Okay, so I have my little decal all on my transfer tape, and I just want to put it just above this little silicone holder. I thought that would be so cute, and just line it up, and oh, just like that. Okay, so grabbing my scraper tool just like this, And it's just going to be really delicate, really simple. I'm not going to go above and beyond. You, of course, could decorate all of the glass on here, but I am really one of those less is more type of people, and I just really wanted a simple little mama right on the top of this little glass water bottle. I thought it was super cute. It's been on my heart since since the spring to do just this. I thought that was cute, simple, and I love the simplicity of it. All right, let's go ahead. I have the cutest beach tote that I want to make a little name tag for, and I think it's going to turn out super cute, and I can't wait to show you what I'm going to do with it. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Okay, so I have a new little beach bag tote that is new to me this summer. I will link it down below. It is amazing. I have been enjoying every second of it, and it is so handy when packing up lots of kiddos and their things for the pool. So I love it, but I wanted to make myself a little bag tag or, you know, like monogram, something fun for the front of it and just get it all cutesy for summertime at the pool. So I am going to do a little monogram bag tag with some faux leather. I have my favorite creamy smooth white faux leather. I'll link this down below. And then I'm going to do on the back side a really fun print. And this is really neat. I'm excited to use this. And then I'm going to do a really fun pink for my monogram, as well as I'm going to dress it up with some ribbon at the end. So we're going to be doing a lot of fun things with this, but what I did is I went ahead and grabbed my mighty hoop and I just hooped some stabilizer. So this is an in the hoop project. I'm going to be using my embroidery machine. If you don't have an embroidery machine, I'm sure there are many tutorials out there on how to make a bag tag without an embroidery machine. In fact, I do have keychain tutorials on my channel with how to make a keychain with your Cricut machine. So I will link that right up here in case you would like to look and check that out. But for this tutorial, because I do have an embroidery machine, I am going to be using that. I also have some cute little lobster keychains that I'm going to be using for finishing this up. So for this, I am going to use this cute little design. I'll link it down below. The font is a separate purchase, but I went ahead and found a really cute little scallop keychain or snap tab, and then I added my own little monogram to the front of it. So I thought this would be really cute. I just designed placed my font on in Embrilliance and then printed it out. I like printing it out because it helps me to see how much material I'm actually going to need. When you do print your design out in Embrilliance, it prints it true to size. So it's just helpful if you want to get everything ready in terms of material. So I'm going to go ahead and prep the faux leather, and I'm just referencing my design, seeing how much I'm going to need. So I'm going to need that much. And then, of course, I will need the equal amount for the back. And I'm cutting it larger than needed. And you'll see why as this stitches out. But I love it in hoop projects because you're literally constructing and building something within the hoop, something three-dimensional that's going to be really neat in the end, and I'm absolutely obsessed. I didn't even realize that this existed when I bought my embroidery machine, and now I feel like I want to do in the hoop projects all the time. They're so neat. Okay, so I have my thread here. I'm going to go ahead and take my stabilizer in my hoop, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on my machine. You can use a tearaway or a cutaway. I had some heavy, let's see, is this, what did I choose? It is a cutaway. I have some heavy cutaway that I am using, and only because I'm shopping my craft space more and more this year and trying not to buy as much, so I know that this will work perfectly, but go ahead and use what you have on hand. All right, I'm going to go ahead and send this to my machine real quick. It's going to do the placement stitch so we know where to place our material, and then we will get going. Okay, so I just used any thread for the placement stitch. It doesn't matter what you use, you won't see it in the end. I had a teal already in there, so I went ahead and used that. I'm going to go ahead then and reference my placement stitch and place my first piece of faux leather. The faux leather that you put on right now is what's going to be on the front. So you go ahead and just make that selection. I'm going to go ahead and reference where my placement stitch is, making sure that the faux leather covers it completely. Then I'm going to bring in my embroidery tape. Embroidery tape will be your absolute best friend when doing in the hoop projects. Just going to secure the material to the stabilizer so nothing moves. And because we're going to be doing quite a bit of stitching for this next part, I'm going to do all 4 sides, and this just helps reduce puckering if it's just nice and smooth and straight. So I do adhesive, and I do it on purpose and unapologetically so that my project turns out really, really nice in the end. So I have it all taped down really nicely there. You can see if I turn it over, do you see how generous I was with my material? It's actually better if it's quite a bit bigger than your placement stitch, because later we're going to cut this out and you just want a generous amount of extra for the cutting out process. At least I like that and prefer it. Okay, I'm going to return it to my machine, and then I'm just going to go ahead and go through the next few steps, which are doing some decorative stitching and the monogram, and I'll just make some creative decisions on thread color as I go. Okay, so here's what we've done so far. So it's stitched a really nice little scallop circle border with a satin stitch. I did do a teal for that. I thought that would be really fun. And then I did pick out a new pink that I thought would be better. It wasn't as neon because that's just not me. I liked this a little bit more subtle, dark pink, and I think it's just a little bit more my style. So I went ahead and changed my thread color for the monogram next. And as you can see, look at how beautiful that did. There was just no puckering of that faux leather. It looks beautiful. So the next thing we're going to do is turn the hoop completely over, because the next step is going to be the outline of the snap tab. So it's going to stitch all the way around, and much like, honestly, the placement stitch, but what it's going to do there is it's going to secure the front and the back. So this is also a good reminder that when you are putting your monogram on and you are building upon your steps in Embrilliance or whatever embroidery software you're using, you want to make sure you put your monogram on and have it stitch it out before you put the back on. The reason being is because once your monogram's on, then you can place the back on your little snap tab and it covers your stitches. So you want to make sure you don't put your monogram step at the very end, because if you do, it'll stitch through the back side as well, and then you won't have a nice clean back. So just a little word of the wise, if you if you accidentally get it on your last step, just make sure you skip steps to do that part first, if that makes sense, and then go back and do the finishing step. Okay, so I'm just going to attach this piece to the back. I do use lots of tape on the back only because this is going to be upside down on my machine. And then I'm going to change my thread color to white, just because I think that gives a really nice finishing stitch, and it'll be really pretty on the front. So I like the white just because you don't see it necessarily. So it's there, but it's not stealing the show. I just like that look, but go ahead and do it however you'd like. So I'll return to the machine. We're going to do the stitch around the outline. And then it's going to do 2 additional little stitches, and I'll also just keep them in white. It doesn't matter what you do, but it's going to do a circular stitch here and here as well. And those are just little placement guides for when we do and install the snaps. So we're going to go ahead and just do those last 2 little steps, and we will be all done and ready to unhoop and then do the next part of this project. Okay, so here is our final little snap tab. How cute is that? I love how simple it is, because we're going to dress it up with some ribbon in a little bit. So now I can go ahead and remove the embroidery tape. You can absolutely save this if you want to use it for another project, because it does retain its stickiness quite well. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn it over, do the same to the back. Just remove, 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 and remove. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is unhoop my project because I am completely done. Just take my stabilizer out and set this to the side. And then now what I will do is I like to personally, actually, was this a tearaway? I'll link it down below, whatever I'm using. Okay, that's why I like the snap bands that I use. Let me grab it. This is what I'm using, but that's why I like using the snap bands, because sometimes tearaway, all the different types and brands all look the same, so it's nice to have those little snap bands so you can differentiate between them. But what I like to do, now this isn't necessary, it's just a personal preference, but I like to go ahead and tear away my stabilizer close to the stitch line. Again, you can just go ahead and start cutting out your snap tab without doing this, but this is just my personal preference. So, of course, I'm going to do how I like to do it. And just, it has it already perforated, so it's really easy. But then there is our little project. Okay, so now I'm just going to take some scissors. You really don't need anything heavy duty for this. This cuts like butter. And I'm going to go ahead and just cut around about 1/8 of an inch away from my stitches, being careful not to cut my stitches. And you can just make your creative decision on, you know, how far away you want to cut. Anywhere from 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch is perfectly perfect. But I'm going to go ahead and just cut around and finish this off, and then we're going to bring our snap press in to install the snaps, and then it's going to really take shape and function. So I have done quite a few in the hoop projects on my channel, just because, as I said, I didn't really know that these, or I didn't really know that these types of projects existed when I decided to get into machine embroidery. But my goodness, it's probably pretty much the future for me with embroidery, because the in the hoop projects are honestly probably the most exciting thing that I've done in my craft room. They are so fun, so gratifying. The fact that you're actually building something dimensional, and these look like something that you would pay a lot of money for, right? They look like something that you would buy at a boutique, or they just look so polished and professional at the end. I just absolutely am obsessed with it. Okay, so there we go. I cut out my little tab. How cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we just need to decide if we want it to go this way. Okay, fine, Lancer is going to go that way. That's so cute. I love that. Or you could do it so it goes this way, but you want to decide now because it will determine how you install your snaps. I'm going to do it this way because there is a reason why I wanted to do, you know, a more fun background, because you can showcase it. I just think it's fun too to have. I think it looks really dimensional and fun when you have a patterned faux leather on your project. I was just cutting off a little bit of the threads, but so cute. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my little snap press in. I purchased mine on camsnaps.com. I'm also using the size 20 extra long snaps because I'm going to be going through a couple layers of faux leather. So those are all the details on that. I'm going to really quickly try to decide what to do in terms of color. Because I'm going to go this way, I think I'm going to go with white. I think that will just look really polished. If I was going the other way, I may have fun with color, because that would be really fun, you know, if you were just doing it over white. But because I'm going this way, I just think that that's too much for me. That's too much for me. I like to be simple. So I'm going to, why do I have two different whites here? What's the difference? I think one is just like slightly maybe more pearl than the other. I'm not sure, but that looks great to me. So I'm going to grab two of the ones with the little pointy ends. I'm trying to show you, but they're plain. Okay, like that. Two of those. And then a male and a female. So then you're going to get the opposites. So one, I can't remember which is which. As long as they are opposite of one another, that's all I focus on. Let's find the other one. Okay, and so then one male and female, and so those are just opposite of one another. Okay, set those to the side, and I'm going to take out my press adapter. This is what's going to actually install the snap, but before I install the snap, I am going to grab my little adapter that allows me to punch a hole through my faux leather. Now you could use an awl, but I do have the adapter, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I find if I don't screw it all the way in, then I get a more clean punch. It goes through better. So I'm going to put that in there. I'm just going to line up these little holes because those are just little guides to where we're going to put our snaps. So I'm just going to line those up in here and punch down so I can get some holes where I need them to go. So pushing, and I don't think I quite, I think I'm going to loosen it a little bit and then try again. Sometimes it's just about trial and error there. Okay, that definitely, you can hear it in person when it has made the little cut. Sometimes you do need just a pokey tool just to get the little extra out. Okay, and then doing the second one. And punch. There we go. Okay, and then just poking out the extra. Okay, so now you can see that I have two little holes in my faux leather. Again, a pokey tool will do just fine as well. So now taking out that adapter, putting that away, and I'm going to install the snap press part. So put the base in. This is the little piece that will help install the actual snaps. So put that in. You can also do this, I believe, with a handheld press just fine, but this is the one that I have. Okay. And now what we're going to do is install the snaps. So now be mindful of where you install your snaps based on which direction you're going to do it. So I am going to have the snaps fold this way. So I want my flat part to be here. And then you can grab either the male or the female part. It does not matter as long as they're opposite of the other one. So I'm just going to grab one of them, knowing that it's opposite of the other piece. I'm going to place it in so that this side, this nice smooth side, is side down. Place it right in the bottom. And then I'm just going to press. There we go. And it installs the press, or the little snap. Okay, I think I need to actually do that one more time. Okay, I feel better about that one. Okay, now the opposite one, we're going to place, and sometimes I even, mimic what I need to do. We're going to place this smooth side through the back. Okay. And then the opposite end here. And then snap. Press it to install the snap. Okay. And we've got it. Okay, so now the snap is functional. And that is darling. That is so sweet. Okay, so now I'm going to really quickly just clear away my snap materials, and then we'll continue by getting it all cutesy. Okay, so I have the little snaps here. I think I may go with gold. I think that could be fun. There's also a silver. Silver could be fun too. You know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm looking at my bag, and on the inside, the little zipper is gold. So I'm going to go with gold. And I know that's silly, but that stuff sometimes matters to me. So I'm going to do that. Or maybe if it doesn't matter to me, it just kind of helps solidify the decision, right? Okay, so I'm just going to install that right there. I'll link these down below as well. I've used these a zillion times on my channel. I bought it in a, this is all just one pack, but I have used them so much that I'm kind of just now dwindling down, and they come in a variety of styles. So in fact, this gold, is that the same one? I feel like this gold is a little bit less yellow. It's almost more, I don't know. I kind of like that better. I'm going to do that. Okay. but it came in a variety, like a gold, a silver, more of a brushed bronze. Brushed bronze, I think, is this one. And then maybe like a more titanium looking one. I don't know. I don't know all of the details. All I know is I like the variety. Okay, so that is on there. Now, what I thought, I've seen this on Etsy, I believe, where you can kind of decorate it up with a ribbon. So I'm just grabbing a variety of ribbon that I have in my craft space just to kind of get this all fun and cute. And I figured what we could do is, let's see, let's just start cutting some ribbon and then we'll just see where it goes. And I'm going to cut it longer than I need it. And I know you're going to ask how long, so let me get an acrylic ruler and let's see. Let's just go with 18 inches just to be, well, let me see what 18 inches kind of looks like. So the 18 inches folded would be 9. Should we do 18 or should we do, yeah, let's do 18. It'll just make it easy. Or I could just do the size of my mat. So what's the size of my mat? Let's see. No, I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna do 18. Sometimes it's just, let's just keep it simple. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut all this ribbon and then we'll see what we need. Okay, I have 4 18-inch pieces of ribbon, and I think what I'm going to do is whoa, that's not 18 inches. One of them is completely off. But you know, that could be fine because maybe having it all the same is going to be maybe too methodical. What was I doing there? I don't know. I'm getting tired, I think. Okay, so now I just want to find a way to kind of attach this, if I will, so that in the end it kind of looks like a little banner, not banner, but just like nice and flowy. So let me ponder what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna actually duplicate all of this and do 2 of each because I'm looking at that and I kind of want to thicken it up. So let's go ahead and just start doing that. So we'll do 2 of each color. You're seeing real life planning right now. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know what I'm going for and I just have to figure out how to execute it. Okay. And there we go. And oh, bugger. Okay, well that's okay because maybe this will be my little attachment piece. Look at me shopping my craft space. I love this. I actually get really excited when I run out of something because that means I'm emptying out my craft room. And I just love empty drawers. Okay, so let me get this all together. And then what I think I'm going to do is at the center, I'm going to tie. I'll tie this little piece. Yes. I'm just going to kind of tie it. Okay. Kind of making like, it reminds me of like cheer bows or something. It's so cute. So I'm going to do that a couple times and get that nice and tight. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I have this double knotted. I grabbed another piece of ribbon and I think what I'm going to do is just use this ribbon to attach it to my little lobster clasp here. So I think I'm going to do something like, and you know what, just do you at this point and do whatever you would like to do. I'm sure many people have different ideas on how they want to execute this part, but I just think I'm going to just kind of attach it this way with some ribbon. And I think that will be really fun because it's a little too bulky to attach like to the actual snap part. So I'm going to do this and then I think that will be how I attach mine. Super cute. Okay, changing my mind, I'm gonna go back to these little tiny pieces that were my original method of getting everything together. I'm gonna tie that there because my little lobster clasp keychain is just a tad too small to go around the handle of my bag. So I'm gonna need a ribbon attachment regardless. So I'm gonna do this like that. Just kind of tucking in my ribbon pieces. Okay, and then, whoops, let me make that a little less messy. It's all gonna be covered anyway because, oh, that's so fun. Okay, so there we go. How cutesy cutesy is that? And then I'm gonna trim these little guys down. Okay. And then I'm going to use, there, so fun. And then I'm going to use just a ribbon to tie this to my bag. So I'll go ahead and just put that on my bag and it will be all super fun and cute. I love how this turned out. I think it's fun. I think it's really, really just exciting and summery and sweet. And I think it'll just make for a really fun little bag tag on my little beach bag. So moving on to another little craft that I want to do, and it's going to be a very functional craft because I have had these little swimsuit cover-ups. They are so cute. They're a little tiered dress cover-up that zips up and down, and they are for just putting over your swimsuit. And they're really nice, like terry cloth almost. It's more like a towel in texture and material, but I wanted to go ahead and monogram these for my girls for this summer. They're super cute. I already monogrammed the first one just because I was doing a test stitch. I wanted to make sure I knew exactly what thread to use and just to make sure I liked how it all turned out. So I'm going to go ahead and do the second one with you. And I am going to be using my Durkee Easy Frame. And I am deciding to use this because I'm going to float my little area that I want to embroider within the frame, and I'm going to be using a sticky stabilizer to do so. So you'll see me do all of this, but I'm going to go ahead and use my Durkee, and I have my 5x4 frame already loaded on. I'm going to use a sticky stabilizer. I'll also use a wash away topper, and I'm going to just put this over my material so that my threads don't sink in. You'll see that in a moment as well. And then I have some thread set to the side. I'm going to be doing a monogram. The third color I already have loaded on the machine, but I thought it'd be really fun and summery to do a 3-color monogram, 1 color for each letter, and I thought that would be really nice. I also have a little piece of poly mesh stabilizer here, and it is a fusible, and I'm going to go ahead and iron that onto the back side where I'm going to place the monogram, and I'll go over that in just a moment as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring my ironing board in here and get everything all prepped and ready. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to unzip this, and I'm going to just kind of iron this section that I'm going to work with. Make sure it's nice and ready to go. And then I'm also just going to very quickly lint roll it. Okay, then taking the inside, I am going to, let me grab my actual design. So I have my little monogram sized and ready to go, and I did this in Embrilliance, which is my embroidery software. And the best thing about Embrilliance is then once you design, you can print it, and when you print it, it's true to size. So you can take your printout, you can literally place it on your project, whatever you're doing, and you can get a very good visual for what it's going to look like. And I like that because I'm very visual and I like to see, you know, exactly where my placement's going to be. I also like to double check that I like the size and everything. So I like doing this method the best. It's just the way that I've learned to do it, and I really enjoy it. So I'm going to go ahead and take my monogram, and I want it to be right over here. And that looks pretty good in terms of placement. So I really like that. I'm going to grab some embroidery tape and just tape that down. And I'm using my favorite Kimberbell embroidery tape. I just love it. I might bring that up just a hair. And I'm just going to tape that down. You can bring out a measuring tape or an acrylic ruler to help you get it all placed, but I'm really, really good at lining things up with my eye. So that looks good to me, and I'm gonna go with that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is just turn this over. That way I can kind of get an idea of where my design is going to go. And you can kind of see, if you will, just the little area where the little cutout is. It's a little hard to see, but in person you'll be able to see and feel it really well. Then I'm gonna take this poly mesh cutaway. I'm just gonna cut a little bit. And the reason I'm doing this is really not for the stabilizer portion of it, but I really want, actually I can trim a little bit more off. I like to have a barrier in between my garment or my project and my sticky stabilizer. I find that sticky stabilizer is really at times hard to remove from the back of things. So I just like to use an additional stabilizer. Again, less for the stabilizer part of it, but more for just providing a barrier. And because this is fusible, I can just iron this on, and it makes taking the sticky stabilizer off so much easier. So this is something that I like to do. Skip it if you don't. It's no problem. We all have our ways of doing things, but I love doing this, and it only takes little tiny scraps when doing so. So I just built it into my workflow. Grabbing my Durkee frame, I'm going to grab some, whoops, I'm going to grab my sticky stabilizer. And I'm just going to size this to fit roughly about there. Looks good. Trim this down, and then we'll get it all placed on there. Okay, so let's put, I'm going to turn my frame over. There is a liner on here, so you'll remove the liner to reveal the adhesive, and then this is how we will essentially hoop our stabilizer on this frame. Okay, so now we have a side that is sticky. We're going to place that on the back side of the frame. And then you're just going to pull it real tight because you want to have it tight as a drum. That way it's nice and ready to receive the project and float the project on it. So I like to go top, bottom, and then side to side, just to do opposites to really pull. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this over, and I just roll it around, just like that. Okay, and there we go. Okay, easy peasy. And then if you tap it, it's nice and tight, and that's what you want. Okay, now that we know where our design is going, we know that we want to place this area within the frame. So we want to be mindful that we're not putting it too close to the edge because we don't want our needle to come in contact with the frame. So what we're going to do, and once we get onto the machine, we'll also trace it so that we know where the frame is in relation to the needle. So you always want to trace on your machine just to make sure that you know exactly where your needle is going to go, especially with frames that did not come with your machine. So pardon my arm, by the way, I got a really bad bumblebee bite. Well, I'm not even sure what kind of bee it was, but I got a bee bite. And so I'm having some swelling, and I just put some medicine on it. Hopefully it helps, but I kind of have a little crooked arm here today. So if you're kind of wondering why I look a little silly today, it's because I got a really, really awful bee bite yesterday, and it's just taking its time getting better. Okay. Taking my time to line up where my design is going, I'm going to place it within my frame and trying to do my best to also make sure that, you know, the crosshairs are lining up both vertically and horizontally. And that looks good to me. So if I can feel that, you know, the edges of my frame are very far from where my design is, okay? Just by feeling. I know my edges are right here, 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 and here. Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna grab some clips just to secure it additionally. And that way it's just really on there and not moving. But as you can see the sticky? It's really on there. So you just kind of press it down and it just sticks right to the stabilizer. But I like to go through and additionally just add some clips to ensure that it doesn't move. Okay, so adding a few to each side. Here, here, and here. Okay, there we go. I think that's fine. I could add an additional one, but might as well. Okay, so now when putting this on my machine, I also want to make sure that the design on my screen matches this way. So I'm going to make sure that I rotate my design 90 degrees so that it is sideways on my screen. So whenever you're looking at your machine, you just want to make sure that your design matches. So whatever you see here matches on the screen, because that is going to show you exactly how it's going to stitch out. So I just want to turn it, because right now it's on my screen like this. So I want to make sure that it's on my screen rotated, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put this on my machine really quickly just to get everything lined up. And then what I'll do is I will put the wash away topper on top. So let's go ahead and just line it up real quick, get everything traced out, and then we'll put the topper on before we start stitching. Okay, I have my design loaded. I'm going to center and trace. First rotating. Okay, good to go. Now I'm going to center. And what I'm going to do is make sure that this little laser lines up right in the center. That way my machine knows exactly where center is. That looks good. Now I'll trace to make sure that I don't have my needle going anywhere near the edges of my frame. Okay, now that it's centered, I'll put my wash away topper on. Okay, because I have everything centered on my machine, now I can just remove my little template here. And then I just keep these and set them to the side because I monogram a lot of things, and usually it's at this size for the size that they're wearing. So I just save this and keep going and going and going. So that way I just have one template and I just, you know, stick it on a sweatshirt, stick it on a bag, stick it on, you know, any little thing. So now I'm going to take a little bit of this wash away topper. And what this is doing is, because this has more of a terry cloth or towel feel to it, and it has, you know, a little bit of a raised texture, I'm going to put the wash away topper on this so that my stitches don't sink down into, you know, the towel texture of this, and instead they do a nice clean stitch. So I'm just going to place this right on top. You can take it with your clips and clip it down, or you really honestly can just lay it on top. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's just providing a little barrier, and we're going to take it off at the end. So it doesn't need to be perfect at all. Okay, so I just do it like that. Good enough. I'm going to take it over to my machine. Actually, I'm going to do one more real quick. I'm going to take it over to my machine. I will change thread colors as I go, but I'm just going to stitch out each letter. There's a stop built in between each letter so that I can change out what color I'm using, and we'll get this done in no time. Okay, so it's all done. It did really, really well. And it looks great. It was so easy to do too. So I love this. And I decided on just some fun colors that I thought would be really fun for summertime. And I also wanted to tie in that turquoise color from the actual zipper and little pom-pom lining on the sleeves and the hood. And I thought that turned out really cute. So I'm just going to take the clips off. And then I am going to just pull to remove this wash away topper. Now you can also spray the middle parts because there's going to be little pieces in the middle, and you can spray that and it will just dissolve or wash right off. So what I'm going to do now is turn this around. You'll see nice clean stitching on the back, but I'm just going to literally pull this away just like that. And because I have that barrier with the poly mesh, look how clean and easy that was. It pulled right off of there. So nice. So the next time I use this, I can just patch this with another piece of sticky tearaway and I can reuse that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the inside really quickly. I think I had one little thread on the outside that I need to take care of. Let's see here, just like that. Done. And that looks so cute. Okay, so I am going to just kind of peel away or peel up. I'm not peeling it away, but I'm just going to peel at the sides. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to trim this down. Now you could take an extra step after this and add a tender touch or some type of, you know, softening layer if you're worried about this irritating skin, or just to give it a soft, you know, barrier. I'm not going to do that. This is something that's going to have, you know, swimsuits on underneath it. So it's not, I don't think it's necessary, but go ahead and take that step if you'd like. But what I'm doing is I'm just trimming that poly mesh close and, you know, not too close to the stitch line, but just kind of rounding that out just so it looks something like that on the inside. See? Now I'll just take my iron, and because again that's a fusible, I will just kind of iron that back down. Just kind of cleans it up on the back. Less is more. When you have less material back there, it's less that's going to eventually peel up as the wear and tear occurs. I'm just going to trim a couple of this little threads, 1 and 2, and I think that is it. Okay, so that is done. So now I can just turn this over. I'm going to go ahead and zip this up. I think I used a different pink here than I did on my other daughters, but it still looks so nice. And then there is the little swimsuit cover up. So cute. Now I can also, let me grab my little spray bottle, and I can probably just do both of them at once just so they're all done. You can just spray again on that wash away topping. And if you just kind of rub it, it will rub off. And you can take, I mean, it's honestly just coming off with my fingers. You could also take a little wash rag as well, and it just dissolves. So that one's already done. Grab any little pieces that you see. It can kind of be gummy. And it just dissolves away. So then you don't have that shiny look to it. And now I'm just going to kind of clean this up a little bit. Okay. All done. So quick, so easy. And now these are so summery and fun for lots of fun time at the pool this summer. So quick, easy, love it. Love being able to bring Babs out to do just a little quick embroidery project. I can't even remember how much or how long that little stitch took, but it took very, very minimal amount of time. And I think these look really cute. Okay, so I love all these crafts. I love how everything turned out. I'm feeling really prepared for continuing on with summer, and I just think that all of these crafts were really fun to do, but I really appreciate that they're all very purposeful and they're all gonna serve my family in some way. So I love the little swim cover-ups. They are so cute. Spoiler alert, I stopped filming and we actually went and used them. They work perfectly. So it was super fun to be able to use those. And And then I love the cups, and I'm going to surprise the kiddos with these again, and they're going to really think that they're super fun. So I love how they turned out, and they just contrast so nicely. I love these little functional magnetic containers. I think they're super fun and really colorful and fun for summer, but also again very purposeful. A little container for myself, which is always nice. And then I think that these turned out super fun. I really love this holographic sparkle look. I think that that is just super sweet on that pink, and then again on that heathered gray, this white iron-on just looks so nice. Again, everything will be linked down below in terms of materials that I'm using. And then, of course, this was quite a stinker. It gave me a little bit of a headache, but I think it turned out really neat. And again, it's going to serve a great purpose for my family. Now, I did end up finishing my cute little tag. I love how it looks on my bag. I think this is super fun. Again, the clasp was a little too skinny to be able to fit around the actual handle, but I do think it's necessary because, and you could also just do a regular key ring or something like that, but it kind of served as the base for all of the other things. So I really liked it. And then I attached it through the little holes. So on the inside, you can kind of see that I just tied a little ribbon on there and used it that way. So I really like how this turned out. I think it's super fun. I think it's just really summery and exciting, and I think it's going to be really fun for taking all of the things to the pool, because you know how it is. Mama has to carry all the things. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will hopefully see you all in the next video. If you're new here, please be sure to subscribe so you can see what's coming to my craft table next. And like always, thank you so much for watching, and I'm hoping you're having a wonderful summer, and I'll see you in the next video.